So as a part of a DevOps engineer, so you do the building the CI/CD pipeline, deploying the application. That's pretty much you think. But once you deploy the application, then the main thing is start, or the main chaos is happen, is the monitoring. And in the DevOps life cycle, or in the DevOps in general, in your working days, you have to monitor the application that you have deployed and continuously see what was happening to your application. So hello everyone, myself Rohit Marathe and welcome to DevOps. I know I am making these videos too much late, but I will be just on the way to make these videos regularly. Okay, so the main question was, so once you deploy the application, the work is started for the monitoring, and usually the people is used or go with the like industry standard. We have the like Loki, Prometheus, Grafana that can be used for your monitoring your application usability and check the like what was happening for your application, is the health status, anything can be done using the tools. But in some cases, or might you are aware of or non-aware of, there are some of the things can be much more tricky in the monitoring as well. And for handling such of the task, so there is a new tool that are emerging in the DevOps space, is called ELK. You might heard of ELK or not heard of, so don't worry. In this video I'm going to take a look with the ELK, what exactly ELK does and how you can implement in your project or in your organization that can helps to get the better idea for the monitoring and the observability, and you can make your task much more easier. So without any further delay, let's get started. So what is ELK? In the simple term, there is a combination of three tools. Okay, so let me show the screen. Okay, I just forgot to share that one. Okay, so first understand what exactly the ELK. So ELK stand for the three main tool that's come. For the first one, we have the Elasticsearch, then we have the Logstash, and then we have the Kibana. So these three tools is responsible for collecting all the data, then it's also structured in the proper way, and then show in the graphical way. So how it does, or before that, just understand so what exactly the traditional monitoring happen. So let's get started and I will show you a one diagram over here. So usually what we do, so we have these servers. Let's suppose you have this application server. Okay, this you have the like app, and this can be your monitor server. Okay, monitor we can say right now. Okay, this is the monitoring. So what we do, so we have the like different kind of monitoring tools, like the Prometheus, like we have the Loki. So what the Prometheus does, so Prometheus collect the metrics, time series data base. Okay, so it's like it collect time series. And then we have the Loki, which is responsible for collecting the metrics, sorry, not the metrics, for the logs. For this tutorial we can just consider as we are going to collect the other logs. For that we choose the Loki. I think they don't have the icon. So the first thing what we are going to do, for the like targeted machine that we want to collect all the logs, where we have to install a agent, or we can directly say Loki. So what we do, we just install the Loki on this server. Okay, the application server where we can we have the like React app, and we want to collect all the logs of the React app. Okay, so we can just consider as a React app. So usually what we do, so we just collect all the logs and send to the monitor. So for the monitoring, as per you know that, so we use Grafana for the graphical user interface, where we can just see these logs. So log can be in your directory of something called var logs, then we have nginx something. So usually they have the nginx if you are using the nginx server. So we have this logs in this directory. So all the logs is going to be sent from over here to the destination that we have the Grafana server. So in the Grafana we add as a data source, we add, and then we just add the Loki, I will say URL to the Grafana, and then we can able to visualize all the logs of the Loki. and if you want to collect the time series data, then you can just go with the Prometheus. Okay, and for the logs we go with the Loki. And this is the like usually traditional way to how do you monitor your stuff. So in the ELK stack, all the things is pretty much same, but there are some of the differences. The first thing, let's get started with the Logstash. So Logstash is responsible for collecting the data, and there can be so much of data, and it can be a metric data like we have the CPU usage and all the things. Then we have logs. There are pretty much things that we are going to cover up soon as well. So let's for this understanding purpose, just consider Logstash is responsible for collecting the data. Then we have the Elasticsearch. So Elasticsearch is a kind of a search engine which helps to we'll say structure the data, then index it. So all the stuff can be done with the Elasticsearch. And then the main thing comes is Kibana. So Kibana is none other than is a dashboarding thing, so where you can visualize the things in the graph and charts, similar to the Grafana that we have. And if in the simple term, if I want to conclude this one, you can just consider this as in this diagram, I will say image. So this is like what ELK stack does. Like the Logstash is responsible for collecting the data aggregation and the processing, which means the collecting the logs, collecting the like all the data. Then the Elasticsearch, which is responsible for the indexing and the storage purpose. Then we have the Kibana. So Kibana is responsible for the visualization and the analysis of the stuff. So that's the like overview idea of the how the ELK work. And when you do the monitoring, so as per I mentioned over here, so in this example we just collecting the logs using the Loki, and for the like time series data we use Prometheus. But in some case, if you want to collect some of the like only the specific data, because if you directly integrate the Logstash in your application to collect the data, so it's going to collect all the data, and that not be responsible, that cannot be a like I say a good thing for your application. You don't want to collect all the data that can't be needed. So for that use case, you are going to use the bits. So what exactly bit is? So bit is responsible for the set like I will say specific data. So if I want to show you, okay, let's suppose as we have this different kind of bits. So there is a audit bit, there is a metric bit, there is a file bit, there are so many things is included, like there is the hard bit and the win globe bit. There are so many bits. And let's suppose you want to collect only the data of the logs. Okay, so for that purpose we can use the file bit. So file bit is responsible for the collecting the logs, the data. Okay, I think I just use the another image. I should have to use this one. Okay, this will be okay. So as you can see right now, so the file bit is responsible for the collecting the all the logs file. Then we have the metric bits, which is responsible for the collecting the memory, CPU usage and other things. Then we have the packet bit for the network data, HTTP request, and then we have winlog bit, which is collect the Windows log events. Then we have audit bit from the data from the Linux, and then we have the hard bit, which monitors the like uptimes. I know there are so many of like overwhelming things, you will get confused, but don't worry in that. In the simple layman term, so the bit is responsible for collecting the specific data. And let's suppose in our example, and if you want to just collect the logs, then we use the file bit. So as mentioned over here, the file bit is responsible for the collecting the logs. So then we just use file bit for the collecting the logs, and all the things will be almost going to be same as per this diagram. Okay, you can just understand. So if you have the different kind of machine, then we can use the file bit for collecting the logs. So all logs can be collected and sent to the Logstash, and Logstash is further going to proceed to the Elasticsearch, and all the data is taken by the Elasticsearch. Like Kibana will going to take all the logs, like all the data from the Elasticsearch and show in the graphs and charts. Either you can do the one thing as well, if you want to don't you want to use the like Kibana as a dashboard, then you can use the Elasticsearch for taking all the data sending all the data to the Grafana, and you can visualize the things in the Grafana. So that the things over here. So now the main question was arise, so why you should opt for the ELK stack rather than the traditional one we have like Loki, Prometheus, Grafana and all the things. So the answer is straightforward. So the ELK stack is pretty much more powerful than your usually tools like Loki and Grafana, because if you just search ELK stack SQL queries example indices with SQL, so this is the like diagram you can see right now. Okay, this is the diagram. So here you can see right now. So the ELK stack is much more powerful for the SQL queries rather than we have the like Loki, Prometheus and Grafana. So where you can perform a large complex queries, which is not possible in the case of the Prometheus and Grafana. And for managing this kind of stuff and the setting up the ELK stack is pretty much resource hungry. So if you want to set up that one, it's take a lot more memory and you have to implement that as well. So for which one this will be suitable? If you have the like a large number of data where we have the like tons of TB of data, then you can implement the ELK stack where you can perform the complex queries that can be helps to reduce your time, and that can be in the almost in the real time you can do. That helps to keep your like monitoring like easy, and with that let's I have to just give one example like ELF. There is a ELF stack as well. ELF stack. Okay, monitoring, I have to mention that one. ELF monitoring. Okay, I have to just explicitly mention fluent bit. Okay, fluent bit. Yeah, so the similar we have the like ELK, then we have the like ELF. Like EL is pretty much similar like Elasticsearch, Logstash and the F for the fluent bit. And what I'm just saying right now, so let's suppose if we just talk about the like current scenario. So if you want to monitor a Kubernetes cluster, okay, and you want to get the log of the specific containers, in that case the Prometheus is failed, that cannot be done. But if you use the Loki is failed, you cannot be done. But in that case, if you want to monitor a specific containers as well, the specific logs of the specific containers, then where the ELK stack or the ELF stack can be done, which means the F stand for the fluent bit, which is responsible for collecting the logs, okay, and visualizing the thing, can be all the things is can be done. So where ELF stack can be used and you can collect all the metrics instead of Logstash. Then you can use the Elasticsearch for the indexing and the graph like Kibana for the dashboarding the things. So for that specific use case, so I have the like straight answer. If you want to save the cost, if you have the like save cost and you don't want complexity, and you want to keep this like I will say that the main two things, like you don't have the like too much of not too much monitoring you need monitoring, then go with the traditional tools we have like Grafana, Loki and the Prometheus, okay, that we have. But if you want to do much more rather than this one for the monitoring stuff, just go ahead with the ELK stack. And I will rather than clearly mention over here, ELK stack is not for the everyone. if you want to have the too much of data, just go with the ELK. Or either you don't have too much of data, stick with the traditional logging and the monitoring methods. And by the way, if you are newbie and if you don't know about the ELK stack and you want a video on that one, so let me know in the comment section. I will be happy to make a video on to the ELK stack and how you can set up it and how you can use it. And that's pretty much for this video. If you have any doubts, so let me know in the comment section, and see you guys in the next one.